All right, yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, Dr. Coach Erwin L. Hudson, a.k.a. Dr. Coach.
Oh, hoops, baby.
Let's go! Folks, let's get ready for episodes 9, 10, and 11. And I got a special treat for you. My friend, who I think is the smartest sports mind there is out there, Coach Joe Seminara. Coach Joe and I are going to talk about everything from life, basketball, his family, the good old days. You name it, we're going to discuss it. So sit back, relax, and get ready for episode 9. Coaches, parents, and players. Oh my. Special treat today. I am talking to the one and only Coach Joe Seminara, my friend and the smartest assistant coach ever. Back in the day, there was this huge campaign advertisement about Bo Jackson that said Bo knows a whole lot of things because Bo was a huge 3 or 4 sport athlete. Probably could play any sport. But yeah, there was Bo knows this, Bo knows that. Well, when I first started thinking about this podcast and bringing Joe on, my first thought was to title this podcast episode as Joe Knows. Whether it's basketball, baseball, football, golf, track and field, you name it, and Joe knows. However, after speaking with a few of his friends and his amazing wife, Jennifer, I've decided to entitle this one as You Don't Know Joe. So that's exactly what this episode is going to do for us. This episode of Coaches, Parents, and Players. Oh my. We're going to get to know my friend, Joe Seminara. First of all, Joe, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, welcome, Joe. Welcome to Coaches, Parents, and Players. Oh my. And my first question that I ask all of my guests, everyone that's came on so far, and that's Coach Calvin Lingelbach, the first timers, especially the OGs. I want to know how you're feeling.
I feel great. More energy and very relaxed. Great time of my life.
Wow. Okay. All right. I want to know something. As a sophomore, I heard that Coach Greg Robinson said that if you were on the floor, it was like having an assistant coach. So I want to hear about that first coaching job that you got when you were 17 years old. Talk to me about it.
Well, I had played in this senior league. It was 15 and 16-year-olds. And I had turned 17. I was a junior in high school. And the president of the league called me and said there were no fathers willing to take a team. Would I be interested in taking one of the teams they had? And at 17, I would be coaching 15 and 16-year-olds.
Oh, my God.
Some of the kids, actually, I was playing on the varsity, and there was 6 or 7 of the kids were playing JV. But I decided this is a direction in my life I wanted to go. And at 17, I got a great opportunity.
Wow. 17, coaching 15-year-olds. These people probably thought they knew more than you, though.
Well, they did until they met me.
So these kids, you didn't even know these kids.
I knew about half of them. But,
Okay.
being I was playing on the varsity and I was having quite a bit of success at that time, I think I earned their respect right away because I could play.
Gotcha.
Then as we got into practices, and I don't think any of them had ever had a coach drill them as hard as I did and run situations. And there's so much to baseball that gets overlooked. Everybody worries about pitching and hitting, but all the intricacies of baseball are being lost, in my opinion.
Wow. But you're right. At the younger level, I think that's what the issue is.
Yeah, I don't think, the athletes today are bigger, stronger, faster, throw it harder, and that's great. However, all the little parts of baseball are being skipped over. They're allowing strikeouts to the point of a detriment of a team. Wow. Based on one swing. Hopefully we hit a home run. Yeah. And there's so much more to baseball. And if you watch the Dodgers in the World Series, they played a lot of small ball, moved runners. Yeah, they hit their homers. But both teams, I thought, put the ball in play way above average of what the major leaguers are doing today.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a good perspective. All right. Coach, I want to know a little bit about Torchy Clark. I mean, I've never actually seen a picture of him or anything. I don't know what he really looks like. I've heard so much about him from you, from Coach Calvin Lingelbach. I heard this. Coach Clark once told your wife that you were the most knowledgeable student that he had ever had. In fact, one of the rumors was that he even stopped you from answering trivia questions because you always got them right, and I think you saved the class a lot. So talk to me about Torchy and what effect he had on your coaching.
Well, Torchy's one of a kind. It's true, as when he was a professor, he would allow trivia questions. If you got it right, he would give the class a 15-minute break. Then the second class, there was a 30-minute break, and each time the questions got harder. Unfortunately for Torchy, he couldn't stump me. And the class kept losing more and more time for breaks. And so he said, okay, no more trivia questions for Joe. And the rest of the class could answer, and they couldn't get them right.
So no breaks.
Yeah, so I wasn't allowed to continue answering for the time off.
Oh, wow.
After everybody would pass, then Torchy would ask me, and I would get it right. And the class would look at me like I'm from another planet.
And I look at you sometimes like you're from another planet.
Another thing about Torchy.
Yeah.
Torchy was so far ahead of his time.
Oh.
He pressed when no one else pressed. I was a junior in high school, and UCF was practicing in our gym because they didn't even have a gym.
Yeah.
And I walk in early to our practice, and they were just finishing up. And Torchy's running the wishbone, and he's the quarterback during practice, trying to teach guys how to make this pass when the defender's cutting the lane, and he's running the wishbone. And it's just like, I had never heard or seen anybody else ever do that.
Wow.
And I remember one thing Torchy telling me, and this is 1989 or so, when Shaq, Olajuwon, Ewing, all the big boys, every team had a 7-foot center with his post playing with his back to the basket. And Torchy told me in 1989 that we would see 5, 6, 7 guys on the court and no more center.
Wow.
And this is when the centers were the height. And I looked at him like, what are you going to do with those guys? He says, they're not going to play with their back to the basket anymore. They're getting so athletic. Everyone will be out and outside the three-point line, and there'll be more space than we've ever seen.
And this is before they were even doing it?
Oh, this is 20 years before, 10, 15 years before they did
Wow.
it. And I never forgot it. I thought it was strange at the time because what are you going to do with Shaq and the boys? But Torchy was right on it. You know, now we do have 7-footers, except they face the basket and shoot the three.
And drive and do everything.
I don't think Torchy realized the 7-foot guys were going to be able to do what he had anticipated the game turning into. But he saw it coming.
And Torchy was a small guy, right?
Yeah, he was only 5'8", 165 pounds or so.
Gotcha.
But he was different. He had coached and won state football championships in Wisconsin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was funny because he said in football, he was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. In basketball, he was wide open and totally different coaching style. So, you know, to win championships in both sports.
Wow.
You know, I've always said good coaches can coach anything.
Exactly.
And bad coaches can't coach anything. So I think you take a good coach, if he's a state football coach and you gave him a different sport, I think he'd turn whoever he's working with into winners.
No, I believe that. You just learn the rules and go at it, right?
Yeah, and you'll figure out a way.
Gotcha. And you said something about Torchy couldn't stomp you. There's a game, I just heard about this, some kind of contest or Beat Jack. What's the story about Beat Jack?
That's my bowling story.
So I want to know about Beat Jack.
Okay, I've used this story to talk to teams when we're getting ready to play a highly ranked team, either nationally or in the state.
Yeah.
And I was not a very good bowler. My average was 150, but I always wanted to bowl in a tournament just to do it once. So they had to sign up at the bowling alley, $25 Friday night. So I'm thinking it's a handicap tournament. I was capable of rolling 200 once in a while. So I said, well, if I have one of my good games and I'm going to get 50, 60 pins, I can compete with the big boys. Well, when I show up, it was 36 bowlers, and I was number 36, playing number one in the bowling circuit. I guess they travel week to week all over Florida and win money. It was like $500 if you won the tournament back then. And, of course, being the last pick, I have to play number one, Jack. I show up from basketball practice. I got high-top shoes on, high-top sneakers on, my coaching shorts. This guy is a billboard for a bowler. He's got the wristband or the wrist guard. He's got the bowling shirt. He's got a towel out of his back pocket. He shows up with 6 bowling balls on a rack.
He brought his own rack.
He brought his own rack with 6 bowling balls. I show up. I'm still looking for a lane ball. Put my fingers in. I didn't even own a ball. I had to rent shoes. So I show up, and he warmed it up for 20, 25 minutes. I'm still looking for a ball. Finally, I get the ball. I roll 2 balls. I look at him. I go, okay, I'm ready. He goes, that's all you need? I go, that's all I'm going to need today.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I ended up bowling a 203, and Jack bowled a 196 with 3 7-10 splits. I could bowl Jack 1,000 times, and this was the day. And word spread across the bowling alley, who's the new guy that beat Jack? They couldn't believe it, that Jack was out in the first round.
Oh, my God.
So when I tell people that anything's possible in athletics, the Jack story is example 1.
I can't believe I've known you this long and you haven't told me. I have not heard that, beat Jack. I'm glad I got that. I'm glad somebody told me to ask you that. Beat Jack. And you beat Jack.
And I beat Jack. So I used to tell the kids that, and then I'd end the story with, okay, fellas, let's go beat Jack.
Oh,
and we'd head out to the field.
Hey, oh, man. I wish you'd have told us that we needed that at Trinity, man. We needed that. As many Jacks we played.
We played a lot of Jacks that year.
We played a lot. That's awesome. All right, let's get into basketball. Like, I know you're a man of a lot of words. You can do this. I want to know in a few words, let's sum this up. What is the current state of basketball to you? Let's go to each level, youth level. What do you think?
Well, I think the youth level has expanded quite a bit in the last 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
Kids are getting into basketball 5, 6, 7 years old, 8 years old. You know, my first year I played organized, I was 10. Okay. And that's, 50-something years ago. And that was in the Northeast where basketball was much larger than it is in Florida. I think Florida has really grown with our athletes and our success.
Yep.
But back in the day, there's too many other things to do in Florida than to go into a gym when the weather's nice.
Beautiful, yes.
People go boating and hunting and camping, that kind of stuff, and they don't put the time in. Basketball, I think, is a very unique sport. I think football, if you're an athlete, a physical specimen who can run, and we can teach you. Baseball, there's a lot of work, a lot of skill level, but there's nothing like basketball.
Gotcha.
No other sport asks you to run as fast as you can and then stop on a dime.
Yep.
If you don't, it's going to be a violation.
Gotcha.
You have to have complete control of your body is the number one thing.
Gotcha.
So I think the youth aspect of basketball is only getting better. When you start getting a little more accomplished, and now you start to head into the AAU travel ball circuit.
Yep.
I think it's a horrible thing. Okay.
Tell us how you really feel, Joe.
Yeah, I think the AAU market was developed for the special D1 going to the NBA type of kid.
Yeah. Originally, yes.
I think that's what the original goal was.
Yep.
And it was a good thing. The best kids in Orlando went down and played the best kids in Miami. Okay, great. Now, I think it's oversaturated. It's become a money grab.
True.
I don't think the game of basketball is being taught at the right, what you want.
Yep.
There's no discipline. It's everyone is get my shot. You're playing with a guy, he's just made 2 threes, and you watch, and he don't touch the ball for the next 6 possessions because everyone else wants their turn to shoot.
Yep.
That's what I think's hurting basketball.
Gotcha.
I love the kids want to keep playing and put their time in, but I think we don't have enough just regular leagues to where you can teach fundamentals. And I think that's why the Europeans have really taken over. They practice 6 days a week and play one.
Gotcha.
We play 6 days and practice one.
Gotcha.
And you want to know why they're so much more fundamentally sound. I think that says it all right there. As far as the high school, high school to me is the best time of your life as an athlete.
True.
You get to participate with your buddies, hopefully that you grew up with all through. And now it's you guys against the world. And you have a bond that frankly can't be broken if it's done correctly. Today, I graduated almost 50 years ago from high school, and I have 9 of my baseball players in my phone and 6 of my basketball players.
Wow.
And that's 50 years ago.
Gosh.
So
That's
as
amazing.
a coach, I used to tell my kids, I don't know if I'm a good coach. And they would look at me. I said, I'll know in about 10 years. When you guys are 25 and you want to go have a hamburger and a soda and talk about what a crazy coach you had. You have 5 or 6 of your buddies that you played with. That's what, to me, athletics is all about.
Yeah.
The wins and losses, they all take care of themselves.
Yep.
And we all want to win, and we all want to do our best. However, it's the journey that matters.
Yep.
Once you've been through it with your buddies and the work, if you've been worked hard and really put through the ringer, you can't break that bond.
No, exactly.
So, I still go to as many high school games as I can.
We do.
I like to watch the camaraderie. I like to watch a well-coached team. But the problem with high school is I see it. It's the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
You work with a kid, you get him to a certain level, and then the next year he transfers and you're playing against him.
Yep.
The loyalty of the athlete is gone. The loyalty of the coaches is gone. You'll see coaches jump ship just as easy as the kids.
Yep.
It's a problem that I see.
Yep.
A lot of high school kids have these dreams and aspirations that they're going D1. What they need to do is go watch a D2 game, go watch a D3 game.
Yeah.
Because more likely they're in line for that than they are D1. And people from D2, go watch good D2 basketball. It's as good as bad Division I basketball. It's better.
Oh, it's back to better, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
So
that.
there's a lot of times they're just a little undersized,
Yep.
or they're perceived to be undersized. I see guys who are 5'10", 5'11", and I don't understand why they're not playing elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I do, because it's all about size. But there's so much more to the game than just being big.
Definitely. So before we go, Coach, like back in our day, we didn't have this transfer and all that kind of stuff. I want to we're going to come back to the state of the NBA, but transferring, you hit it on the head about high school, like even at Evans High School, you guys, and I talking to Coach Calvin Lingelbach about the loyalty and the Trojan pride and the stuff you had. And it's like right now, a kid learns all your stuff and then goes, and he knows that 1, 2, 2. He knows other stuff, and it doesn't seem right.
It isn't right. And, Evans, you bring up Evans. Evans is the most unique high school I've ever seen or been around. It's really a community school. Evans was fortunate enough to go to the state tournament last year.
Yeah.
Well, we went through their run through the district playoffs and onward, and it was amazing. Now, I left Evans 34 years ago. I still walk in that gym, and there's 6 or 8 kids, they're 50-year-old men now, that I coached. They come up and hug you and give you the respect and appreciate what you tried to do and help them.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I go in a lot of gyms. I don't get that anywhere else. Yeah. I coached at Lake Cal. I coached at Trinity Prep.
Yep.
I don't have those kids come up and really show you the respect and love that these young men do.
No, you're right about that. I feel it too because, like I said, I coached at Trinity for 5 years, and honestly, I don't feel at home when I go in there. Like I'd want to feel. And same with Lake Howell. 9 years at Lake Howell, Bishop Moore, all these schools. I don't have that like you guys have. I see that with Calvin and you. When we go to Evans, it's a different world because there's guys who grew up, lived that life, went to the elementary school, the feeder schools, and the middle schools, and they still have that sense of Trojan pride.
They do.
That's
You know,
weird.
we went and saw Evans play last week at an away game at Edgewater High School, and there were 4 guys that I had coached
Wow.
35 years ago at an away game, just because they love basketball and they love Evans.
Gotcha.
So they're gonna come out and support him.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you, man. That's tough.
And at the Edgewater game, their 2 best players last year were back from Thanksgiving break. They're playing up in West Virginia right now. They come back, and the first thing they do is they go to an Evans game. You're talking freshmen in college now, but they still have that loyalty of, let's go watch the team play before they go do whatever else they do.
Gotcha. I understand. So, knowing that the title of this podcast is called Coaches, Parents, and Players, oh my. My original plan was to ask you pointed questions about each of these things, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, the perceptions that, from your experience, what did you think of when I say those statements? But let's just stick to the coaches today. I want to talk about coaches because not too many people talk about coaches. When you hear the premise, coaches suck, you know, and like I said, I've heard that before, and I asked Calvin the same thing. What comes to mind? I mean, have you heard that before?
Oh, many a time, unfortunately. When things are going good, you got great players, and when things are going bad, the coach sucks.
Exactly.
Okay?
Well stated.
Winning hides a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I go to games now, a lot of games with not knowing any of the kids, knowing some of the coaches, but not all of them. And I really go to watch the coaches. I want to see the organization. I want to see the discipline in their team. I want to see it run correctly.
Yep.
There's teams out there who have superior talent, but are not being instructed the right way. You as a coach have an obligation, especially if you have a big-time player, to work with him and discipline him into becoming a next-level player.
Yep.
To let him get away with things, shot selection, bad passes, not getting back on defense, not rebounding. You can scream and yell and all you want, but the only thing kids understand is the bench.
The bench, yes.
It's the most powerful thing a coach has. So don't lose your mind screaming at him. Just sit him next to you for a few minutes and see if that doesn't change his ways. Not enough coaches do that. They're all after the wins without doing it what I perceive to be the right way. You know, discipline to me is a big part of athletics. If you're not getting that discipline, and no one wants to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Human nature, we don't want someone telling us how or what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the right man at the helm, he'll show you the right way to play.
All right, episode 9 is now in the books, folks. Like I told you, Joe never disappoints. He's a wealth of knowledge. I can't wait to start episode 10 and keep it rocking with Coach Joe Seminara. Thank you.